Good evening, pilots and mercs. Today we're going to be going over BATTLETECH, the Locust. Now this one is a fan favorite of many pilots. I know personally, Wasteland absolutely loves the Locust. I myself, it's an okay mech, especially for infiltration and whatnot. It actually works really well for those contracts. I think that it can definitely get you in and out of bad situations in a hurry, so I think it'll be an interesting mech to go over, and especially I'd like to see what Big Red's opinion is on it, so grab your snacks, grab your drinks, and let's get right into the film. Big Red 40, BATTLETECH, the Locust.
In this video, we are going to go over one of the most recognizable light mechs in the history of BATTLETECH. That mech is the venerable Locust. A light mech weighing 20 tons, this battle mech is one of the most commonly produced war vehicles in the Inner Sphere. Produced originally by Bergen Industries, but now produced by nearly every mech factory in the Inner Sphere. The Locust was developed in 2499 and not only survived the succession wars themselves, but would remain in production indefinitely afterwards. Whether it be through the hell of the First and Second Succession Wars, the long drawn-out struggle of the Third Succession War, or the intensity of the Fourth Succession War, it would be produced in large numbers and see combat in all theaters.
You see, what's funny is that this is one of the battle mechs that just doesn't have any complicated technology. So of course you're going to see this all over the place. Yeah, you have an anti-pigeon laser here, which is the small laser. Whether it's a pulse or not doesn't really matter. You have the machine guns on the side. Some variants you might have SRMs, as I'm sure we're going to go over later. But all in all, this thing is not complicated to build whatsoever. So it's like, I would hope that it would survive the Succession Wars, because it's literally got nothing that complicated in its design. Like, sure, if you're first developing mechs way back in the day, you're maybe not going to have the mech design compact into this form yet. But other than that, the Locust is going to survive no matter what.
In addition, this veteran design would be tasked with competing with new technology, such as the threats posed by the clans upon their invasion, and would face down the fanatics of the Word of Blake in the nuclear nightmare they would unleash. Why did this design persist for so long? There are multiple answers. Firstly, the Locust is an extremely inexpensive platform. Looking at the performance of the base model built from the late Star League through...
I'm sorry, I just hold the phone for a second. Is that a Locust with autocannons? I don't think I've ever seen a Locust with autocannons before. I suppose you could put two, like, autocannon 2s on it, but those are still going to be like 5 tons a piece. You're only going to get like a handful of shots with those. And also, it seems to have a medium laser here, too. I wonder if it's using endosteel structure or fibrous armor. You'd almost have to, because, again, you have what appear to be autocannons. Maybe they're the rotary ones, but still, you're going to have some weight cutting measures somewhere along the way. Maybe I'm mistaken, and this isn't a Locust, but it looks very much like it, so I'm like...
To the Succession Wars, it is a mech which runs a 160 LTV engine, which weighs in at 6 tons. This gives the Locust the ability to run 129 kilometers per hour, and in-game gives it a total move value of 12. The unit also has a total of 4 tons of armor, nearly the maximum for its weight chassis, and has a total of 10 heatsinks, coming stock with its engine and frame. In its baseline variant, the LCT-1V, the Locust is equipped with a single Martel brand medium laser and twin mech machine guns. Though this isn't
Okay, no, that makes more sense. I just don't think I've ever seen machine guns are usually not this big, which was what was throwing me off here. Yeah, I don't think I've seen a machine gun with a barrel that thick before. Like, I'm sorry, that is so thick. Like, that looks comparable to the autocannon over here on this Mac. Or this one over here. It's like normally a machine gun usually looks smaller, like this. So you telling me that that is a machine gun? I don't know about that one.
through to the Succession Wars. It is a mech which runs a 160 LTV engine, which weighs in at 6 tons. This gives the Locust the ability to run 129 kilometers per hour, and in-game gives it a total move value of 12. The unit also has a total of 4 tons of armor, nearly the maximum for its weight chassis, and has a total of 10 heat sinks, coming stock with its engine and frame. In its baseline variant, the LCT-1V, the Locust is equipped with a single Martel brand medium laser and twin mech machine guns. Though this isn't considerable firepower, the totality of these weapons is not insignificant for the Locust's size and weight, or for its role, which is predominantly reconnaissance. The Locust having a lack of firepower, however, isn't universally true.
I mean, unless you're going to pull out some very interesting variant, I don't think you're going to have as much firepower as, say, a Panther or even the Irby. But again, both of those sacrificing some capacity in order to achieve its goal. The Irby is city defense, so sacrificing a lot of weight in the speed means that it can have more firepower. The Panther has a little bit of both, but generally can compete in both aspects. So I'd be interested to see what variant that Mechanical Frog pulls, or excuse me, Big Red pulls up here.
Locust does have variants in the same era and technological upgrades in later eras, which add greater weapon capability to the machine. This ranges from turning it into a light LRM platform, like the LCT-1M, to replacing its machine guns and ammunition in the LCT-1E for additional laser weaponry, but often causing the unit to run hotter. There are other configurations as well. Then, there are more advanced models, which will come later, utilizing Star League-era technology and more advanced weapon systems. A good example would be the LCT-5M, which gives the Locust a Hermes 240 XL engine, increasing its speed to almost 200 kilometers per hour, and giving it 4 ER small lasers and an ER medium laser. The Locust's biggest weakness is, despite its excellent and reliable design for its weight, the fact that it just doesn't weigh very much to begin with. 4 tons of armor is not...
I love how in the original design, and again, I love the older designs as well. This mech looks like it's on toothpicks, or has toothpick-like legs. I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like an AT-AT as well. Again, I know I'm comparing it to stuff outside of the game, which is not necessarily good, but I just kind of think it's funny how
ideal for
this
frontline
one's
duty, which the mech is unfortunately often put into, especially during the Succession Wars. A medium laser and 2 machine guns, or 2 medium lasers and 2 small lasers, is adequate firepower until it faces off against a mech in its own range weight class, such as the Panther or the Javelin. Still, overall, the main asset of the Locust consistently through its history is speed. For every era it's in or retrofitted for, it has an immense amount of horsepower to run towards its objective. Speed is its weapon, and speed is its armor. It will always be outclassed in armor and firepower once it's put up against a substantially heavier design. But it will always maintain its edge by utilizing its massive movement to avoid incoming fire, putting itself into an advantageous position to attack.
You know, I just thought of something. Rolling it back a little bit. You know what this actually reminds me of? The Owens. Or the, not the Owens, the Firefly from MechWarrior 3. I don't know if we have a picture of that, but side by side, they look very, very similar. In that just wide frame, kind of stick leg looking design over there. Again, oops.
Or acting as a survivable decoy so long as it's not cornered. Perception is not always reality, despite what some may tell you. The Locust is a superb weapon of war when utilized by a skilled mech warrior with a competent commander, directing them across the field of battle. Thank you for joining me here today. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. With that, I will catch you all in the comment section below.
I do think the Locust is a good mech. I've used it personally for a lot of infiltration missions. I would have fielded it more often, but unfortunately, I've had a bug with the infiltration missions in MechWarrior 5 where you'll go to do an infiltration mission, and for one reason or another, you would have the tanks that are part of a unit, usually a couple of tanks, mech of some sort. They'll be all bunched up together, right? They're part of their own squad. The game will tank a tank and by accident drop it somewhere else on the map, usually towards the cliff edges and whatnot. This becomes an issue when that random drop happens to be right on top of your mech. Because not only does it alert the unit to your location, it also sends a message back to its unit that that tank is applied to that there is a mech in the area, and you have about 1 minute to destroy that tank and the unit over there. Now, obviously, with the Locust or basically anything else you're fielding at that point, you're not going to be doing that. And even if you could feasibly have the firepower to do that, you're not going to do it within the minute that you have. So most of the time, infiltration missions were not something I was capable of doing. I think still to this day, that is an issue. I'll have to test it out a little bit more. But yeah, I don't know what causes that. But regardless, this was a really good summary of the Locust. I appreciate the fact that it was broken down and it's very simplistically and technically explained. So if you want to see more by Big Red or support this particular video, make sure to hit the link in the description. Other than that, this has been Annika, signing out.